Welcome back, everybody, to SJJMAS number 18. This is the real deal. Right here, accept no cheap imitations. This is not the cheap Chinese knockoff. You've made it to the right show. And for number 18, we've got Louis Wain, owner and operator of the Cube TM. Louis Wain, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on. I'm sorry for being late. I was getting in some getting some last minute fisting in on Marvel Rivals, but yeah,
I believe you. I believe you. So,
yeah, I'm an Iron Fist main. I love fisting people in Marvel Rivals. That's what I do.
I don't know what that means, but yeah. Anyway, you're here now. Sometimes, I mean, we were talking in the chat about kids today. You just can't get them to turn up for work, basically. I don't know what it is. So, Lewis is a Zoomer, an American Zoomer. He is of the late Zoomer gen, which I often say is different to my generation. I think there's a split down the middle somehow.
Yeah, you're like what, 25 or something?
We'll go with that.
So do your bones creak when you get up in the morning, or like what? How does that work?
Once I finish shaving my grey beard off and combing my grey hair, Lewis, I crawl back to my bedroom and just lay down for the rest of the day, basically.
Yeah, that's what I thought. How are the grandkids?
Oh my god, I don't have any.
Damn, you're a failure, honestly. You're a failure at life, actually. So what are we talking about today, Stephen?
Well, Lewis, what is there anything in particular you wanted to bring to the show? Or do you just want me to spitball?
I want to just spurg about the Neo-Ottoman Empire and what's it called? Greater Israel Project, but you can do that later or do that now. It doesn't really matter.
Well, let's see if we get to it. First of all, how did you start the Cube? And yeah, how did it come about? Louis Wain runs the Cube on Telegram, by the way. If you've heard of this mythical place, it's a place where, as George put it to me, which I think is the best description, it's an experiment to see what happens when you put mentally ill people all in one place.
Yeah. I was in George's old mess squad Telegram chat, and he had some schizophrenics. I was like, what if I just took the schizophrenics and put them in their own chat and added some more people to it? And that's basically where it's at right now.
Yeah. Were you around in the meth squad days?
I was watching the YouTube channel, but I wasn't really involved in the community until a few years ago. Unfortunately, right now the Cube's kind of dead because like all the best schizos are in prison right now. So, we'll have to see what happens. You know, the government is suppressing them.
Maybe if you can facilitate it, we might do a Cube stream where you try to wrangle all your tards onto one panel. I don't know if that can be put.
I mean, we might be able to get Jackstar on here. Yeah, we could learn about the secret. I don't know. I think he might be in jail right now. That's the problem. I don't know how many of them are free right now. Because like he's been getting caught a lot recently for like stealing meat from grocery stores and just eating it raw.
Oh my god.
I don't know. He might. Lucky is in rehab right now. Like the government forced him to go to rehab. I don't know. The government keeps taking my best soldiers from me. This is actual political oppression.
Yeah, that happens with shoplifting, unfortunately. I don't know what's wrong with the government on that one, but it happens.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, Lewis,
it's a 60-year-old man. Can't he just steal a little bit of meat from the grocery store and eat it in the middle of the store raw? Like, what's wrong with that exactly?
Yeah, he was doing that on stream the other day.
Yeah, I thought this was America. What's wrong with this?
Yeah. Miami Virtues is Sam Hyde aware of the Cube? I don't think it's that prolific yet.
No,
but Yeah,
Well,
it's
actually, I
basically
did
it.
meet Sam Hyde this year, so I kind of maybe I guess.
You went to one of his live events, right?
Yeah, yeah. Did I
And what was that
show you that
like?
picture? It was
Yeah,
really
you.
funny. It was very funny. I think like a bunch of people just signed up, like went to the event not knowing who he was, but just they were bored on the weekend and they like walked out halfway through the show.
No
Um,
way. Why was it bad?
no, no, it's just like our. It was very funny, very funny. It's just like our humor. It's like
Okay, yeah.
he had a skit where it's like day in the life of an Indian. I wake up, I eat shit. I have to rape 100 women before I go to work, or else I'm gonna die. And I have to get to the women before all the other Indian men get to them. Like the audience didn't like that. Oh, he also had this guy
Yeah.
called Vanilla Nigga who like just wore his underwear
Let's
and ran.
apologize for any offense to anybody for that. We can't use N words on this
Oh,
stream,
sorry, my
Lewis.
bad.
This is.
Yeah, he had a guy
Oh,
called
God.
Vanilla N Word who like just wore his underwear with his ass out, like tidy whities. And he like sang the Skippity Toilet song and stuff.
Yeah. Now, I can imagine if a bunch of liberals walked into Sam Hyde's show, they would not know what the fuck they were watching. I'm not a
Yeah,
fan.
yeah.
I'm not a fan, you know. I find it that kind of humor that makes people uncomfortable. And so I like want to cringe. And I like, oh my God, I just can't get through this. So I'm like, oh, make it stop.
I
So,
feed off it. I'm like a vampire. I feed off of people getting disturbed by stuff.
yeah, that's not good. So, Lewis, we're going to have a serious talk today. Why? Oh, hold on. Let me pull my picture up.
Oh
First of
boy.
all, no, no, no. We're going to start easy. We're going to start with the easy topics. Lewis, Elon Musk has just saved America, basically single-handedly,
Allegedly.
and and now Trump is going to fix everything. That's right, isn't it?
Uh I don't know. I'm pretty pessimistic about this. I also I don't know. It rubs me the wrong way having corporate people sort of running the government, regardless of what their political orientation is. Personally,
But so you are not a Musk maximalist. Do you not think you agree that he just won the election for Donald Trump, though,
oh,
right?
absolutely, absolutely. He's probably like I'm thinking historically speaking, he's probably like one of the most influential people ever on American politics, honestly, or at least in terms of single elections.
Yeah,
I
I mean, when now looking back, when he bought Twitter, people
It was
thought
a
he was
long term.
crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, you can now see with hindsight, even though it cost $44 billion, what he was doing was basically buying the next government. He was like, I know how like the media works. I am going to buy this social media, this castle of social media, and turn it into basically a pro-Trump platform. And he didn't really show his hand until pretty late in the game,
yeah.
I
No, it was
think.
it's like the way he set it up. At least it's looked it kind of like he's just bumbling around for the past couple of years. But yeah,
Yes.
it all kind of came
Gradually
together.
letting on right-wing people back onto the internet,
Yeah,
unbanning everybody,
we
getting.
still
I think Richard
we still
Spencer called
need.
it getting the gang back together.
Yeah, he still needs to unban Jared Taylor, but yeah, he's definitely moving in a good direction with this stuff. Man,
I
yeah, no, I
don't
mean,
think he knows who Jared Taylor is.
no, he doesn't. But I'm sure someone working for Twitter is intentionally making sure that person doesn't come back. Um, but no, no, like what he did for the internet is fantastic. Like now you can scroll through TikTok, scroll through Instagram Reels, and just see the most like racist, like I hate non-white stuff ever. So it's great. It's great. I will say I find it funny when liberals see and say he's stupid and a man baby. and that he's just like lucked into owning like 3 incredibly profitable companies. I find that very funny, personally.
Yeah, that is obviously not true. I mean, I said in in my other stream, there's like 3 views of Elon Musk. Either he's this sinister evil guy who's going to like implant the mark of the beast in your head. He's either a fumbling guy who's just lucked out and is a cheat and a scammer and somehow scammed his way to loads of money. This is the second one. And then the third one is that he actually is intelligent, he actually is smart, and he's like an autistic guy. So what he's into is rockets and going to space, sci-fi. He literally says, I want like the future to look like the future. And
His kids,
somebody transed his kid.
His kids. This is something funny. I like went through his kids' names and stuff. Like half of them are named after Warhammer factions. Like I'm not shitting you. It's like Techno Mechanicus and like Tau and stuff are his names.
Yeah, and he has 10 of them at least, or it might even be 11 now.
Yeah. Very.
And he, oh my god, I blanked. What's her name?
Grimes?
Grimes, and he, banged Grimes. What do you think of that?
I think that's very funny. I think it's very funny, and I also think Grimes fangirls will never stop coping about that.
Yeah, I mean, there it is. That's crazy.
I like how you can like chart his political evolution. When he was like dating Grimes, he was tweeting about like, yeah, we have the best LGBTQ acceptance rate ever. We have great diversity, and then like after he broke up with her, he's like, immigration is a really bad problem. You know that I really don't like immigration or trans people.
Yeah, he had kids with her, didn't he?
He had like 5 kids with her. Yeah, he had a lot. Well, actually, okay. So he only had 2 kids with her biologically, and then they had a bunch of surrogates for the others.
Wow, yeah. And now he's doing Neuralink, which is putting chips in people's heads, and he's already had a kid with the head of that, the woman who's running that.
Yeah.
Well, so he is just on a mission
to reproduce and to get to Mars. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty anti like all that stuff, the Neuralink and the AI stuff, but that's just me.
What do you have against it? You anti-transhumanism? Do you think that it is like of the devil or something? It's like the.
I mean, metaphorically speaking, it will strip us of our humanity in the
end. So if you were offered an extra 100 years of life that was fit and healthy, would you take Elon Musk's chip?
Oh no.
Why not?
Because like all the chimpanzees have died so far doing that.
Yeah, but I mean, like in 10 years when it's much better or whatever.
Also, how will the chip extend your lifespan? I mean, I believe that. I mean, humans are going to live a lot longer, most likely, but I don't think it's going to be because of chips in our brains. It's going to be because of other stuff.
What I asked the last guy was, if you could have a chip that would give you like 20 IQ points and the ability to download new skills, so like you could go and download Muay Thai or whatever, or like don't go and download karate or or whatever, how to play chess or something, would you do that?
I mean, it sounds very nice, but then it's like I don't know. I don't want to like wake up to a Coca-Cola ad personally, or like have various
just keep up with the payments and you won't have to watch the ads. Louis wants a Neuralink butt plug, says station down.
Well, I mean, Maybe perhaps. Maybe perhaps.
This is how they're going to sell it to you, basically. Now
Yeah.
we've
Yeah. They will corrupt the pure of heart.
yeah. But seriously, do you have a religious objection to this kind of transhumanist future that we are heading into, or is it something else?
It's probably like a partly religious objection. Like once you start editing people's genes and stuff, and start like just I don't know. There's just something very bad about that. I think. Um, I also think it's going to backfire in a way that we can't foresee yet.
Yeah, you know, most of the AI tech bros
Also,
who are
once again,
deeply.
like for the people in the chat, like I want to go to the moon and stuff. I want to do all that, but you can do that without genetically editing people or like putting chips in people's brains and stuff.
Yeah, you can, but on the grand scale of like the timeline of the universe, we live here, but for less than a snap of the fingers. Even the time it
Ooh,
takes for one neuron to fire is
ooh.
so we need vastly expanded lifespans in order to explore this fucking universe. I mean, surely you must agree
Well,
that God made the universe so vastly expansive because he expected man to colonize it. Otherwise,
well,
why did he put it there?
of course. But like I'm saying, the gene editing that you're describing, I'm saying that you can do that, and I fully believe we are going to live to be very old, you and me, assuming we don't die. Um, but I'm just saying, like you can do that without putting chips in people's brains and without editing people's genes. That's just what I'm saying.
No, but we need the life extension technology. We
Right.
need injections that reverse the damaging of our DNA
We
so that we
need to
can
eat the
revert
blood
to
of
being,
children.
well, hopefully not. Um,
They're just
but
gonna have to
basically,
sympathize adrenochrome eventually, and then that's gonna be your immortality.
basically, we need at least like 500-year lifespans to be able, to, I don't know, go and visit all these places, at least in our solar system and stuff, don't we?
Or I
Figure it
don't
all out.
know, stasis pods, that kind of stuff.
I want to see the future, and I think that anybody who isn't a futurist is a tradlarper, or they're I don't know. I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to live to see the future.
You know what I want to see, SJJ?
Yes.
I want to see London, not black. Actually, that's what I want to see. That's just me.
Right. Well, let's talk about it.
Talk about what?
Well, actually, isn't the same happening where you live?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I want to see Detroit, a livable city. I don't.
The
I mean,
problem comes though, right? Wouldn't you accept that America has an original and OG black population that historically
yes,
lives there, and no
yes.
matter what future America you plan, you're gonna have to do it with some black people.
I mean, probably, but they can't be relegated to their spot where they aren't shooting each other up all day.
Well, let's put it, and they can be helped towards being in a better position. Is that what you mean?
Are you saying that we put neurochips inside of black people to make them stop being stupid?
No, well, I wouldn't phrase it like that. Absolutely not. We don't want to say that any one race of people are any like X. We can't on YouTube. We can't say all X are like X.
I never said all
Obviously.
X are like X. I'm just saying, like, you want to what? You want to pacify King Vaughn? You want to put him in a mental prison?
No, we want to help people become their best selves. I
What if
think
they are their best selves?
everyone can be better. You can be better. I can be better. Different people have different gifts, and you know, we all have different potentials, don't we, in different areas. So we can all be raised up. We can help raise each other up. But it's an important point, isn't it, that America has this historic black population, and any solution for that's going to come for the demographics of America will have to include like 20 million black people, right?
Perhaps. There's always been black separationists and the like. We'll see what things
What are you
turn
going
out.
to do? Give them Florida
Something like that. Something
and
like
then
that.
build a wall?
Yeah, build the wall.
It's the perfect place to lock them all in, isn't it?
I mean, they can trade with the Cubans and all the island peoples and have their own Pan African empire.
Yeah. Oh, Spring Hill Jack corrects me and says there's 50 million. Is that right? I thought it was
Well, they're
much
about
lower.
20% of the population, or not 20. They're about what 15% of the population, and there's 350 million people. So probably something like that.
Yeah. What about Hispanics in America? When I was in America, all the jobs were being done by Hispanic people, particularly in the food shop, in the food stores. Actually, black people were only doing the Walmart jobs. I saw things like that. Hispanics had taken over all the other jobs. How does a
Yeah.
white guy like you compete
Well, I'm not.
with?
What it's called. I have a very Hispanic last name, so I get along just fine usually. Um, what's it called? I mean, it's looking like what is it? Anglo Hispanic futurism, Teutonic Hispanic futurism might be the way we're going, unfortunately. So, thank you, Spain, for not killing all these people.
Yeah, wasn't the area where you live part of Mexico at one time anyway? Or was that
I
just California,
It was
right?
part of the Mexican Empire at one point. Yeah. So like when they kicked Spain out and they had their own independent thing, they had this thing called the Mexican Empire, and then they lost a couple of wars to America, and then they lost all that territory, and now they're just the Mexican Republic. So yeah. Well, like, but also it should be noted that the territory, like Texas, California, um, Nevada, all those states, there was never really anyone living there other than some natives. That's why they even seeded in the first place, because they needed white settlers, and then that backfired.
Wait, I'm looking at a map here. Wait, hold on.
They
Let me
don't
share
call me
this.
like a,
That's not the old Mexican Empire, is it? Is
yes, it
that?
is.
They
Yes.
had all of that? Oh my
Yes,
god.
but everything above the Rio Grande was mostly only metaphorically controlled by them. It's just like a bunch of Indians. Because like when the Spanish were conquering Mexico and stuff, they kind of had to stop at like the Rio Grande because of all the natives on horseback and whatnot. They could never conquer them, so none of that territory up there had any real Mexican people there, or like anything other than Native Americans. And then they tried to colonize it, try to get people there. They got white people from the United States to go there, and then those white people wanted their independence and wanted to go with America, and then that's how all that territory wound up in America.
So in a way, Mexicans are just returning home, aren't they, when
Yes,
they
yes,
to
that's
come to
popular,
California?
very popular among them. Yes.
Yeah. Does the Hispanic population lower the quality of life in Western America, or is it not so bad?
It's not as bad as Muslims or Indians. Like in terms of like the immigration, like Hispanics are probably like the best case scenario compared to the rest of the Western world. They do lower life,
They work,
but
don't they?
yeah, they work. they have their own gang culture and whatnot, but it's like it's not as bad as a lot of these other groups that come here.
Yeah. How bad is that gang culture? What are they
Dog
involved in?
speak less. Um, so in terms of like, uh, probably one of the worst in the world, honestly. Once they get a foothold, uh, they run
Uh,
Mexico basically.
yeah, but are they the drug dealers in your area and in
Oh no, there's not an awful
is
lot in
that what
my
they do?
area. No, the
Oh,
cartels
okay.
are the cartels are kept mostly south of the border, but there's always the problem of eventually that culture is going to take more root in America. You know.
Yeah. So what is it like being a Zoomer in a place where immigrants are basically doing the kinds of work that a Zoomer would initially do when he's like in college or whatever? Um, is the economy fucked over there or what?
The economy's fine. It's like everything's just gotten more expensive since COVID. It's like it's if you work hard, they'll pay you well enough at the end of the day.
And you
And
can get a menial job. You can go out there and can you get a gardening job, or is that just all Mexicans? Can you get a job working, I don't know, in a shop in McDonald's or not?
I've never tried for a shop, but yeah, I've worked in like gardening and landscaping and all that. Yeah, it's entirely possible to get jobs like that, just so long as you're productive. But
I remember when I was talking to you, you told me that you don't pay health insurance. Is that right?
yes, that's right.
So do you have no health insurance, or is someone paying it for you? Is like your parents paying it for you, or
No, I just have no health insurance at the moment.
so how do you exist? What happens if you're sick?
Then I go to the doctor and I use the money that I've saved up.
And what would happen if you broke your leg?
Uh, who knows? Who knows? Let's hope that doesn't happen. Praise Yahweh that that hasn't happened.
I was looking up, so I'm really interested in the cost of healthcare. Why? Because everybody here in the UK, obviously we have a but kind of bad system because we have lots of immigrants. So I got on the ADHD train. I went to my doctor basically to say, I need to get, I want to try adult medication, but because I was only diagnosed ADHD as a child, I now need to be re-diagnosed as an adult, and I have to wait 3 years.
Whoa, that's fucking crazy. No,
Yes, so it's
damn.
going to be it's a 3 year waiting list, but for me it will be free, and then I won't have to, pay. I won't be charged anything. But if you went and did that, it would cost you hundreds or thousands of dollars, wouldn't it?
Probably, yeah, but
Probably.
I would also get it instantly, basically, if I was diagnosed with anything. Pay to play.
Yeah. So, don't you think you should have a national health care system? Wouldn't it be better?
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I do think that we could learn a lot from Europe in that department, but also I kind of don't want to wait 3 years for dealing with anything personally.
Yeah. Well, ours obviously isn't the best system. 3 years is fucked. Alphabet Cat says, "Don't. Those meds will muck you up." Well,
Well,
I mean,
Steven's already mucked up, so can't hurt him anymore. Maybe they'll make
yeah,
him
it's an
straight.
interesting one. It's an interesting one because I mean I do suffer ADHD badly, and I'm interested. It's actually Luke Ford has convinced me that I should try it. This is terrible. I've basically been groomed into thinking that I should try meds.
You know what else you should try?
Yes, go.
Hormone replacement therapy.
Well, when would you take? Let's do the serious talk. Would you take steroids? Because that's
Uh,
hormone replacement therapy.
I'm not particularly interested. When I'm older, I'll probably get on TRT, but that's probably about it.
Yeah. There's a guy who might come on the show actually to talk about it. He thinks that every guy, basically from like, I don't know, 25 onwards, should probably be on some kind of gear. And he's like a steroid maximalist. Obviously, we're not advocating that on this show.
What,
I don't know.
Hormaxer?
No, it's not him.
Oh,
But he's
damn.
one of those guys, right? You've come across these
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. The vitalist.
Control opposition says, you got your diagnosis and then what? No, I've got to wait 3 years for the diagnosis.
What?
That's how it works here. I'm on a waiting list to be diagnosed. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
that's crazy. Do you consider saying that you're transgender and you need to get those surgeries?
No, I don't think that would work for ADHD.
Right, but you're like a gay. You're like gay. And
Oh,
you're
fuck
like being
off,
oppressed.
dude.
You're being oppressed
No,
by
I'm
the
not.
system.
Have you got a girlfriend yet, Lewis?
I mean, she doesn't know that she is, but yeah, sir. Let's go with that. Yeah, absolutely.
No, seriously. What do you? Where's your love life at? Have you? I know you're. How old are you now, Lewis? 20.
I've been sounding on Jerkmate recently.
These fucking Zoomers. At what age do you think you will want to settle down and start having a family? Is this a consideration for you, or are you like Jord, who says, "Fuck it, I'm not interested in thinking about this kind of stuff. Don't settle down yet."
I think I want to die in Peru fighting for the recent third positionist party against Bolivia.
Oh my god. What about seriously? You're a religious guy, aren't you? You believe in God. You believe it's your duty in the Bible to tell you that you have to go forth and multiply. If you believe this is true, then the best time to do it is as a young man, isn't it? Get it done. What's stopping you?
Yes, certainly.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, are you taking steps towards making this happen or not? Or are you going to throw your youth away like I did, Lewis, and end up then,
I'm stalking
staring?
e-girls on Instagram. I don't know if that counts.
That doesn't count.
But it could count potentially. We'll have to see what happens.
Are you on Tinder?
Dog, you're like, it's so funny to me that you're like 25 and you're like bemoaning the fact that you've wasted your life. That's so funny to me.
No, I'm not bemoaning I've wasted my life. I'm saying that I'm staring down the big 3-0 and I'm like, where am I going to be? You'll get it, Lee. You'll know this when you get to my age.
No, I get it. I already get it.
You'll be like, what have I achieved? And where's my life going to be in another 5 years?
Yeah. Why don't you go die in Ukraine?
Why don't you go die in Russia?
We have to find the honorable. Me when bro says there's no honorable death in the sandbox of Zog.
Miami Virtue's got it here. Look, 30 is the new 60. True. Yeah,
Steven,
the truth is...
What would you do if I gave you a fern?
A what?
A fern.
I don't know what that is. What's that?
FERN. It's like a plant.
Fern.
Yes. What would you do if I gave you one?
I don't know what the answer to this is.
But like, I walk up to you on the street and like I have a nice little fern in a pot and I give it to you.
I don't know. Come on, What
Are
does
you
it
gonna
mean?
take it, or like what? Or what are you doing?
No, I'm not taking gifts off strangers.
Okay,
If
but
you
you
said,
know
"Hey,
me.
it's Louis Wain from the Cube. I've come all the way from America because you're my best friend, and I've brought you this plant," then
Yes,
I'd be
yes.
like,
So like,
"Okay,
yeah,
okay,
yes.
all right, yeah, I'll look after this. I'll water it."
That's very nice. Thank you.
What would you do if I gave you a fern, Louis?
I probably add it to my collection of ferns.
Right.
I have a couple
I
of
t-
house. I have a couple of little house plants in my room right now, and I wanna get like a whole like aquarium of them, just like growing, just like a whole ecosystem in my room.
yeah, I'm a fan of aloe vera. Control Conop says it's true. It's SJJ, not SSJ. For goodness sake, refused. I think to get his dick sucked by this girl he liked. It was too awkward. Bro, what are you talking about? I'm not an
Ah,
incel. This is a mistake. What I am is I'm now like a
you're,
contemplative cell. That's what I
you're
am.
you're an old head at the end of his life that has nothing left to live for.
Yeah, we didn't get to talk to. I didn't get to talk to Jord about having kids. Why he isn't doing the deal yet? Making it happen. So, but I'm genuinely
He'll
interested in a
regret it.
Zoomer like you.
He's gonna regret it.
Yeah. Do you see
I think
yourself
I think George's
having
gonna.
kids before 30?
I would like to, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. 10
See,
years is a lot of time.
Alphabet Cat knows. Look, SJJ is a Chad. There we go.
He's built like a little femboy though. Steven, like you need to get yourself like a muscle mommy that's gonna like impregnate you. Actually,
Yeah. If it, I've t- wait. Let's just take a look at, shall we? Who shall we look at? Rod Tang. Here we go. Let's look up. Here we go. Hold on. You can joke, but this is my weight class, bro. Okay? So, say what you like. But there we
yeah, but
go.
like, dude, I've seen like videos of you like on your YouTube channel. Like you look nothing like that.
I'm taller, that's why. So I'm skinnier.
Yeah, like
I
those are like
deliberately
what
get
five
into.
five. Those are like what 5'5" dudes. They're like what 5'5", 5'4".
They're probably 5'6", 5'7".
Yeah.
Yeah. Most Muay Thai guys are short and stocky. So I did the lanky in low weight division game. That was my thing.
What was it like to get bent over and violated?
I can tell you what it's like to lose. It's hard. Losing is hard, but that's the game of Muay Thai. Nobody. The difference with Muay Thai is nobody has a perfect record because so many fights and yeah, it's just yeah, losing is difficult, Lewis. You should try it. Do you do sports? Why don't you compete in something? Take up a martial art. Don't you wish you were doing a martial art where you could compete in? I've lost Louis Wain. So Louis Wain hopefully will return to the show any moment. Collop says, I'm a Chad with social anxiety. Somebody's called Louis Wain's phone. He's left me a private chat, so he'll be back in a moment. Miami Virtue says 30 without kids means you are going to be used for adrenochrome by Musk's army of malnourished and neuralinked magatards. I don't think there's anything wrong with having
Sorry,
existential angst.
sorry, I had a phone call.
What about this? Alphabet Cat says he would kickbox you to a pulp, Lewis. Be careful.
I think he would. What's it called? I think he would like get on his hands and knees and take it like a good little boy. That's what I think. Yay or nay?
Nay, obviously. Yep. So, anyway, Lewis, when Jord was on my stream, let's talk about something substantial now. That when Jord was on my stream, he was talking about his understanding of God and Jesus and all this.
Yeah, I'm listening. Go ahead.
Okay, and he basically has a Gnostic view of the Bible story. He doesn't take it literally, or maybe he does. I'm not exactly sure what his position was, to be honest. Because like I showed him that Zeitgeist thing where it says Horus also, born on the 25th of December, born of the Virgin Mary, Isis, he walked on water and everything. And Jord was like, yeah, I believe that too. And I believe in Jesus. And I'm like, okay. And you were throwing things in the chat and saying that you disagreed with Jord. I think you're more of a literalist. So, convince me to believe, I guess. I'd love to believe.
Hang on, let me see. Right. Well, the thing is, Jord's position is just like.
We can't hear you.
Between figures like Jesus and Horus. I think there's probably some pretty big synchronicities between, what's his name? I can't say it properly. There's Persian.
We're losing your fucking microphone, bro.
Right. Sorry. I was saying I don't necessarily. I was saying I don't necessarily disagree with the synchronicity aspect of it. I'm just saying like his general position is that Jesus was one among many, while my general position is that Jesus was the one, personally. Does that make any sense?
Right, so you're a basic bitch Christian who believes the story of the Bible as it's told, which is that Jesus, an angel came down and put a baby in Mary, and
no, an angel came down and told Mary that she had a baby. The Holy Spirit put a baby in Mary.
The Holy Spirit put a baby in Mary, which was God Himself, and then they had the baby in the manger. 3 wise men came to visit. They said,
3 Zoroastrians came. 3 Zoroastrians came and visit.
Okay, 3 wise men, the Magi, came and visited and went, yeah, checks out. This is the fucking Christ. Oh my, holy shit. And then he disappeared for like 30 years. And then he turned back up 30 years later and said, I think I'm God.
Well, I don't think. How old was Jesus when he died? He wasn't that
33, old, right? Masonic
33,
number?
Yeah. No, he was. Oh, here he goes. It says.
Don't you think that's a big red flag? 33?
No, I think it's called the synchronicity. That's what I think it's called. But no, he didn't disappear for 30 years. He disappeared for like 10 years between his like teenage years and being like 25 or so. Like the Bible covers a good bit of time. But yes, that is more or less what I believe. Yes. Tolkien was an anarchist, actually, and he was a libertarian.
Tolkien. Joe says Tolkien was a socialist. I don't know much about Tolkien.
No, Tolkien was an anarchist, a monarchist, and a nationalist. That's what his politics were.
So, what about what George was saying about how it all might have been made up, like basically on this, around the time of Jesus' birth, and that the Old Testament might not be, as old as what we think, blah de blah de blah. It was all written in Greek first.
Well, the oldest, what's it called, version of the Old Testament we have is in Greek. I don't particularly care about the Old Testament. It's like, I think there's like evidence that Jews have existed for quite a long time. So whether or not the Old Testament is 100% accurate, it's like they've been there. They've been following that religion. It might not be like 6,000 years old or whatever, but Jews have been around for an awfully long time, and they've been following that word for an awfully long time. So,
Right. So, as a Christian, you worship Jesus, who was a Jewish rabbi who the Jews
yes.
rejected, and so effectively you're a Jewish supremacist, aren't you? Basically, this is what Adam Green would say. You've basically been inducted into a religious cult that basically has at the heart of it that Jews are God's chosen people. Do you think you've been like hoodwinked?
Well, I mean, no, it's the new covenant. Now we are the chosen people.
Based upon what?
The new covenant.
Which is?
Which is, what's it called? Like the Jews were the chosen people of the Old Testament, and then Jesus died for everyone. And now, if you believe, you are the chosen people.
And how is this not just like Judaism spreading their Judaism? You must have heard this conspiracy theory before. Adam Green pushes it. He says that
Yes,
Christianity is
of
is
course.
is a plot by Jews to spread basically Jewish supremacism
Can you
to
hear
the
me?
Gentiles. Yes. Lewis is muted.
Can you hear me? Well,
Yes.
yeah, sorry, I was cutting out there. What were you saying about the Judaism conspiracy?
So Adam Green says that Judaism basically hoodwinked the Gentiles into this religion, which puts them at the top of the hierarchy. It's basically Jewish supremacism, because they are God's chosen people, and so you're basically agreeing to worship Jews.
Well, worship a Jew, but in general, I wouldn't say worship Jews. No. Um, I would also say that, like historically speaking, Christianity has not really been super friendly towards Judaism. Uh, like if you look at the Christian, like a lot of the pogroms, a lot of the 109 countries were Christian nations. So I just generally would reject that because like if that's true, then the Jews, quote unquote, started a religion 2,000 years ago that took about 2,000 years of oppressing them and like killing them and kicking them out of countries to finally bow down to them. So like I don't think that's a very good strategy personally. And I think that also takes a whole lot of foresight to believe. I don't think Jews are magical personally. I don't think they're thinking that far in the future.
Well, you don't. It doesn't have to be that you think that far in the future. They could not have known what would come, of how it would like proliferate and then turn against them. Because I think we can agree that Christianity did, in many places turn against Jews, pogroms and whatever, Spanish Inquisition. But I think Adam Green's take would be that much of this has been exaggerated anyway. I think in like the Spanish Inquisition, which is like their main one that's always cited, there was something like 300 people put to death over, I don't know, like a decade or something. It wasn't really,
Oh yeah, no,
that.
I mean, the Spanish Inquisition, once again, like wasn't as crazy as people describe it, but it's like they did kick all the Jews out of Spain and send them to the Islamic world. They did kick all the Muslims out of Spain. So it's like, sure, they weren't, you know, genociding them, but they were kicking them out of their country and removing them from positions of power. And I just don't know. I think it's only very recently that Christianity has become amendable towards Jewish people, and that's more because of the post-industrial revolution and all these ideals and whatnot. Like I said, like if you look at the last 2,000 years of European history, I don't think there's a lot of trends of Jews being worshipped or considered a chosen people. Personally.
Yeah, do you think it's interesting that the Spanish Inquisition was going on, what was it, 14, basically at the time that Columbus set sail for America?
Yeah, 1452 or 1472 or whatever.
Yeah, so basically, and Columbus has, there's questions about Columbus's heritage. Maybe he was a Marrano Jew. We know that he had at least, some Jews on his ship because they're credited for bringing tobacco back to the New World.
Right.
So do you think Controlled Opposition says 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue? Yeah, that's right. That's how you remember it. And the Spanish Inquisition was in 1478. So,
right. So I mean, if you're
was Columbus
saying,
a ship full of Jews, basically sailing to find a new place for them in the New World?
I mean, probably. Like you could make an argument that a lot of the sort of expansionism of the Spanish Empire was driven by that sort of mindset, or by like individuals like that. You could make an argument that a lot of the European empires were built kind of like that. Like the British Empire was built on this sort of Protestant rejection of the Catholic Church and such. And, we're the chosen people. This is our homeland. God promised it to us.
Yeah. Why, as a believing Christian, are you a dirty Protestant?
I was raised that way.
A Catholic.
I
Shouldn't
reject.
you come back to the one true church and become a Catholic?
I reject the idea of the Pope. If I was going to convert to anything, it would be Orthodoxy.
Oh my God, bro.
I reject the idea of the Pope. So yeah, no.
Wouldn't your friend Kay say that that Jesus Christ founded his church and St. Peter was the next in line, and then every pope in line from that has been the vicar of Christ, and therefore there was an apostolic line of succession to,
yes.
And that is therefore the one true church, right?
Well, I mean, the Orthodox also have an apostolic line of succession, so
they don't have an apostle now, do they?
Well, once again, like I prefer the Orthodox way of looking at it, where it's like, what's his name? St. Peter was the first among equals, not greater than all the others. And that's kind of the way that the Orthodox Church is run today, with the bishop in Antioch, the first among equals. That's basically the Orthodox equivalent of the Pope, first among equals, but is not able to change the scripture himself or change the religion himself.
Right, so what type of church do you attend?
Like I said, I'm non-denominational Christian right now. That's just how I was raised.
Holy fuck, bro. So that is like one of these fucking mega churches, isn't it? I've seen what they look like.
No, I have a smaller one. It's basically just a Baptist spinoff that just fell out of favor with the main Baptist organization and didn't like doing that. I don't
And
particularly
when you
like.
go there, what goes on at this church? Because I've seen some of them. It's basically like people singing, and they're like, "Well, praise the
Yeah, it's the
Lord." And
singing and then the Bible study and then the pastor talking about whichever sect of the Bible or whichever chapter he wants to talk about at the moment.
the pastor talking about why you need more immigrants and need to love thy neighbor as your
Something
own.
like that. Something like yeah. Israel's our greatest ally. Israel's our greatest
Oh
yeah.
my God. And you think that this is healthy for a young man, or do you just believe and therefore?
I think it's healthy to an extent to keep yourself grounded to something morally speaking. In terms of the actual, I just really don't like. I don't know. I've just learned to really not like Protestantism as of recently or as of late. Um, I mean, I think
Oh,
Christianity
well,
as a moral
explain.
system. It's just like everything you just described, and then just the endless Israel shilling and all that. No, it's just it's just annoying, you know. It's just very annoying.
What do you think? Like Lambie here says, I don't want to. I'm only attacking Christianity for like something to push back on Lewis on. Yeah, you know. So like, you
Yeah,
know, if he gives me a thread, I'm just trying to yank on it.
Jesus
So
was a
I
communist.
I don't want
Yeah.
to offend Christians, but what do you think of Christianity as being the original woke? So I've heard this explained that, for instance, like in Rome, Christianity was this like idea that spread around in Rome, and the rabble rousers were the ones who were like getting this idea, and they were like, spreading it around, and we're like the original persecuted people, and we believe in equal rights for us and all men, and love thy neighbor and all this
Yeah,
bollocks.
we believe in not killing our female children. Yeah, yeah, we believe in bathing multiple times. Yeah, that's yeah, absolutely.
But there is communistic elements to it, isn't there? Throw
No,
away all your worldly
there's Christian.
possessions.
No, there's Christian elements of communism.
It's more difficult for a rich man to enter heaven than it is for a camel
No,
to
it's
pass
not.
through the eye of a needle.
Uh, well, once again, that verse is taken out of context, so that's not what the actual full verse is just saying that it is impossible to reach heaven without Jesus. That's all that verse is saying. It's not saying that it's any more or less difficult for a wealthy person to enter heaven.
Yeah. What about Christianity today is responsible for much of like the wokeness that we see today, for the excesses of liberalism. Like many of the charges that can be made against Jews in America can equally be labeled against churches, maybe particularly Catholics, I don't know, but I've definitely seen them involved in like bringing up immigrants from the southern border, all this kind of stuff. Catholic organizations trying to get you to house an immigrant, and Protestant churches as much. Where do you lay the blame on that kind of stuff? Do you think it is inherent within the ideology of Christianity?
I think that there's always the element of that, but I think it's just more of a racial thing than a religious problem.
We lost Lewis
Sorry.
mid
I was saying
sentence.
I think it's more of a racial thing than a religious thing because, like, you have like Christians, like Africans all over the third world are Christian. Haitians are Christian. Fucking, there's plenty of Middle Eastern Christians. None of them have given up their ethnic identity or handed over their homes to their genetic enemies because of their religion. I think it's more of a problem with Europeans in general that we would have such an altruistic take, personally.
So, what do you think about pagans and paganism, where they say that this is the true origins of the European spirit? We've been cucked by Christianity, and
That was
this
my
is
sister, by
basically.
the way, for the chat. That was my sister yelling at me. All right. I think the repaganization of Europe and Western civilization is very good, personally.
Oh, really? Why?
Yes.
Why?
It's
I'm surprised at that.
I think it shepherds what's it called? The two Christianity and paganism has in the past fought against each other, but also fed each other. It's easier to convert a pagan than it is to convert a atheist to a religious belief. Pagans actually believe that there is meaning to life and that there's more than just materialism. So I think the repaganization is not ideal, but it's better than nothing.
Which one? Which one is better for like deciding to start a family, procreate, and have children? Do you think? And saving the white race?
I mean, if you want to talk about children, Christianity is certainly best for that. I would say, like, I think it's been proven, and even today, all the people who are still having children are like Catholics and Lutherans and stuff. Um, and I don't know, paganism has its place, I think, but I don't think it's I don't think that it has enough of an. It's too vague. It's too vague to really propel. What's it called? To like really lead a movement in my mind, at least. It would be. It's good for its like vanguard position, if that makes any sense. It's good for a sort of like countercultural, right wing elite type of thing, but not so much good for reproducing and getting the white birth rates up. Personally,
Yeah. Have you not been attracted to the trad cath larpers? Don't you
no.
think that why not?
Uh,
Why is Fuentes and his brigade not not the way forward?
well, I mean, Fuentes very well. I mean, he himself might not be the way forward, but very well what he represents might unfortunately be the way forward. But just like in general, like I said, like Catholicism just doesn't sit right with me. I don't like the idea of the Pope. Um, I don't.
Yeah, but
I
this is way too spurgy. You have to just like adopt the best. Surely, like Clarecore's position would be that you have to adopt the religion that is the most utilitarian for what you want to achieve. And
maybe, but I've always had the position where it's like when you convert to the religion of your enemies, you're losing. Um,
yeah, but Catholics aren't your enemies, surely, are they?
no, but Mexicans are.
And that's so what? So you predict that there's going to be some pushback against Catholics because they're Mexicans in America?
No, no,
And you don't
I'm
want
just no, I'm just saying like, look, I just I'm not going to convert to a religion that's being basically taken across the border by millions of Hispanics. Personally, like I'm just going to put it like that. Um, and just in general, like I don't really accept the utilitarian sort of like do whatever's best for your survival in the instant. In your, I think it's important to do what you believe in at the end of the day, whether that's paganism or Christianity or whatever else it is.
Yeah. Natman Prime says communism is the empirical pagan nature of white people, but made toxic by masquerading as a universalist religion.
The problem with Claire Call in general is that she doesn't really believe in anything. You know, it's like just whatever's going to get me in the position of power I want, which is fine, I guess. But I don't know. I don't want to do that.
Well, like before we go, let us talk about then power and authoritarianism. What are you one of these dissident right spurgs who wants authoritarianism to come back? I mean, I accused you on the stream the other night of being a Third Reich enthusiast, and you said, no, I'm not. But most
Well, I
people on
mean,
the dissident right say that they want some kind of authoritarianism, a government to swoop in and like tell them how to lead their lives.
it's coming either way, so might as well get ahead of that trend. I think either A, there's going to be like an authoritarian government that like kicks out all the immigrants, or B, there's going to be an authoritarian government that actually makes it livable to live with immigrants and cracks down heavy on crime. So that's coming one way or another. Doesn't really matter if I'm pro it or not. In the ideal society, of course, you wouldn't need something like that, but the West's not ideal currently.
So, what is the future of America, Lewis, as you see it? If you look out ahead, what is coming down the line?
What's it called? Teutonic Latin futurism. A bigger emphasis on socialist policies and a bigger emphasis on South America as opposed to the Middle East and Europe.
Yeah, but you just said authoritarianism's coming, so.
Oh yeah, much more. Well, it's like I said, like I predict much more socialistic policies. I don't really know what form that authoritarian is going to take, but Hispanics in general, they love socialism and they love strong men, so they vote for those types of people. If I were to guess, you know Bukele in what's it called?
No.
Bukele in El Salvador. You know who that is?
Oh, okay, yeah, okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah, if I were to guess something like
president.
that for America, yeah, as a president.
Wait, but America has checks and balances. America has a constitution. So, it's founded on, with your Constitution and the Bill of Rights. These things can't be overturned except with a 2/3 majority.
Well, like I said, this is like far in the future. I don't think this is going to be the next election, the next 2 or 3 elections. But given the trends, I think that's where we're heading for. Also, like Milei is not a dictator. He is elected legally. He has the Senate has given him legal powers. He's not doing anything illegally. And he has to be reelected every 4 years. But at the same time, he keeps on getting reelected every 4 years because he's very good at his job. But that's. I do think that it should be legal to run for more than what's it called? More than 2 terms.
2 terms.
I think that's unconstitutional. Yeah, I think it's unconstitutional to limit it to only 2 terms, personally. But that's just me.
Yeah, 2 terms is not enough. I've often thought about this. That it doesn't allow people. Basically, your president is a lame duck. Basically, Trump is going to be a lame duck as soon as he gets in office, isn't he?
Well, Trump's old, so this is going to be his last run, anyways. But I'm just saying, also, it's not even true. We've had at least one president who served 3 terms in office. It's I don't think 2 terms is good.
Wait, so how did that happen? Was the amendment after?
The amendment was after him because he was very
right.
I believe it was FDR. He got elected for 3 terms.
Yeah.
But he died halfway through his 3rd term, so he only served 2.5 terms. But yeah, no, they added the amendment later. For the first 150 years of America, there was no term limits. Just as long as you kept getting elected, you could conceivably remain president.
Yeah, 2 terms isn't enough because, this is the argument that authoritarians use. The people who look to China and Xi Jinping, they say that these people can plan for 40 years ahead and enact them and know that they'll be empowered to see them through.
Yes.
But the problem with authoritarianism is that you might not get what you want at the end of the day. You might end up with an authoritarian communist who fucking hates you. And then you're fucked, basically, aren't you? So be careful what you wish for.
Well, once again, I'm advocating for, like I said, El Salvador, there's a concept of a democratic Caesar.
Yeah, he's a communist, isn't he?
Bukele?
Is he not? I bet he's a socialist, isn't he? They all are in South America.
Yeah, absolutely. But once again, it's like as the Hispanic population grows in America, you're going to see more and more socialistic policies. Like already, like the Hispanics in Congress tend to be very socialistic. Like AOC is just straight up a socialist. These South Americans love strongmen and they love socialism and they love communitarianism. So it is what it is.
And are you a fan of socialism? Wouldn't this be like a disaster for America? America's greatness is because it is of its free markets, and it's the economy that rivals the world. The dollar is king, etc. This is due to capitalism. This is due to the markets. Any kind of socialist policies would just wreck that economy and it would be a rug pull on America, wouldn't it?
Give me a second.
Lewis's sister wants to know what the heck is going on.
I don't know. It depends on what kind of socialistic policies are implemented. Well, once again, it's just in flux. Like that's just where I think America's going to go in the next 50 to 100 years. But I don't know how that'll work. Also, I think America's economy is solid enough that like I don't. I think it's going to take a lot more than a little bit of socialism to destroy it and wreck it. Personally.
All right, well, what is your ideal for America? I mean, tell me how to fix America before you go.
Fix America. Oh, well, for that, Trump's got to deport every single brown person from America, bring back Jim Crow. What's it called? Um, Reinstate the death penalty, bring socialist medicine into America. Uh, I don't even know what else. Pull out of all the Middle Eastern countries, stop funding Israel, send all the Jews back to Israel. Um, sign into take away everyone's right to vote unless you own property. Um, Women aren't allowed to vote ever. Um, yeah, that's how we save America.
And how much of that do you see happening?
Large, I think large amounts of immigrants are going to be sent back. Personally,
Oh,
and I think
really? Okay.
I,
Okay.
I, I
You're,
think given Trump's
you're
thing,
optimistic.
I find it likely that he'll at least I don't think that he's going to like solve the demographic issue, but I think he's going to slow it down a good bit. It's not going to be as bad as Biden and Kamala's is. And what else? I don't think we're going to get involved in any foreign wars, but who knows? Maybe Israel. Maybe we'll fight Iran. We'll see. Um, I also don't think China's going to make a run at Taiwan, so I think that's going to be fine in the end. Personally, I think we'll be good.
Yeah, well, he's only got 4 years. What the fuck can he really do in 4 years? It's really
Well,
all about what comes after, isn't it? What he
well, his
sets up.
cabinet picks Well, that's kind of like what I mean by Catholicism. So like the four next most likely people to take up like the presidential run in 2028 are all Catholic. Like half of them are Hispanic. So like yeah, I think Hispanics are gonna what's it called rule America as it were. Um, what about you, Stephen? What do you think should be done with the UK?
Well, I'm glad that you asked. I think that I believe that in incrementalism in politics, so I'm a realist. I
Oh,
believe that. Go
I,
on. Yeah.
I would like to comment real quick. Yes, I believe in that as well. But I'm just saying, like, in terms, you asked me, like, how would you save America potentially? Like, that's
Yes.
like I'm aware that we need our long march. That populism isn't really going to accomplish anything, but like I'm just saying, like that would be how you would do it hypothetically.
Yeah. when Yuri Bezmenov came to America and he did that interview on television and talked about, as a Soviet defector, he explained like that the KGB is majoritarily involved in what he calls active measures, which is the long game of changing a country's ideology. And he explains it takes one generation, 15 to 20 years to really start to change a country, because you have to start with the children. And so it starts with education, and you indoctrinate a new, a generation of people first. So you start with the students.
For that, at least, I think social media, ironically enough, people talk about how liberal Gen Z is, but like social media, ironically enough, is turning out extremists of all stripes and colors. We just saw that recent mass shooting. Like, yeah, the first radical feminist Nazi mass shooting.
Yeah, that's wild, isn't it? We
Yeah,
need to be careful
yeah.
what we say about that, but
I disavow, but I'm saying like
absolutely.
social media is turning out extremists of all varieties. So it's going to be interesting to see. Oh, also then there's the Luigi guy where it's like, oh yeah, he read Ted's manifesto, and then he's like, yeah, I'm gonna go kill a healthcare CEO. Like,
Yeah, what disavow, obviously.
yeah, Gen Z is churning out a lot of extremists of a lot of different political stripes. So it'll be interesting to see where that goes from here.
Yeah, that latest one is 15 years old,
Which latest
which is
one?
wild. The
Oh, right,
Pupu
the
girl.
girl. Yeah. Now that
Yeah.
that's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, possibly radicalized by Radfem Hitler on Twitter, which is insane.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy. Rad family. Imagine you're like a police officer who has to investigate the case, and you just gotta like scroll through her Twitter account and just like look at all the stuff she posted. That's so goated. That's so goated.
Yeah,
Man,
I mean it's a problem, isn't it? I mean that it
I
does
don't think
the
it's a
opening up
problem.
of.
I don't think it's a problem.
Oh, I mean, come on.
I think it's glorious. Personally, I think it's glorious.
Well, we don't advocate for anything like this. I'm glad we're kind of like talking around the subject and
Well,
not saying exactly what we're on.
Bowden gave a speech about this where he said that social media is going to democratize information. And I think what you're seeing right now, generally speaking, is people who are more like genetically or culturally predisposed towards certain ideals are now winding up with those ideals, while in the past they would have had like no exposure to them. And I think that's a process that's going to continue throughout Gen Z and probably speed up exponentially for Gen Alpha and later Gen Beta. So, yeah, may you live in interesting times. May you live in interesting times.
Yeah, I think Gen Alpha's fucked. This
Probably.
Yeah, Gen Alpha is 24. It started in 20, being born in 2014, right?
I thought it was like
So they're like
2015.
10. I think they're like 10 years old this year.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I actually have we started Gen Beta yet, or is that like just around the corner?
they're around the corner. Yeah, they're the next up.
So,
I
Steven, you're
think.
definitely not going to be able to reproduce in the next few years. Like, imagine having a kid part of Gen Beta, dude. Like, that's crazy.
Oh my god, I hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah, like,
Fucking hell.
yeah, like, imagine having a beta kid. That's crazy.
No, no, I think they've got to have a different word for it. It's not going to be called beta, surely. It's going to be something else. But yeah, I never even thought raising a kid who will not even be Gen Alpha. That's going to be crazy.
I mean, most likely, like, given the path you're on, it's either going to be Gen Beta or whatever is after it. Unless you like
Yeah.
go out there and get a girl knocked up tonight. That's most likely how this is going to go.
Yeah, it's an existential crisis. I was talking about it in the last stream.
Well,
Yeah.
Stephen, I think you need belief in your life. I think you need something more than just spaceships and an interstellar belief, personally.
Well, I tried to get you to convince me to believe, but all you just said was like, "Oh, well, I just believe it." Didn't
Well,
hear
I
any
mean,
substance really. Didn't
I don't
convince
know.
me. Got to be honest.
Why don't you read The Abolition of Man? That's like 50 pages. You'll like that.
The Abolition of Man by whom?
Yes.
Who's that by?
Yes. C.S.
C.S.
Lewis.
Lewis.
Yes. It's only like 50 pages. It talks about your futurism, talks about your kind of ideals.
Well, give me the brief picture to me. In what way?
Um,
How is it going to convince me to believe in something?
not necessarily convince you to believe in Christianity, but
Yeah.
that book in general is what's it called? Just might convince you away from the sort of editing that would be necessary for immortal people and people who live for hundreds of years. If I recall correctly, his argument in there is basically that as we stand today, now I'm just gonna mess it up. Actually, just read it. It's 50 pages. I'm gonna mess that argument up. I always mess up his arguments whenever I try to quote him.
Yeah, look, if I don't get the gene editing injections and that, and double my lifespan to 200 years, and it probably is over for me, so I'm banking on the future to give me like another 100 years to figure out how, to start my family, basically.
That's horrible. That's absolutely terrible. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. Actually,
it's either that or I get on the ADHD drugs and it just magically happens for me. Maybe that's all I need. So get back.
What?
I'll get back to you in 3 years'
date?
time on Ritalin.
Do
Lewis,
you
how
date,
about that?
Stephen?
Yeah, I'm not I'm not opposed to it.
No, I'm saying you. I'm not asking if you're opposed to it. I'm saying you engage in it. Or are you just like an autistic spurg? It's just like.
No, I'm not an autistic spurg. I probably dated most of the girls at work, and I just find it uncomfortable.
So you are an autistic spurg.
Well, obviously I'm a bit autistic and a spurg, obviously. I mean, there's part of that, obviously. Yeah.
Yes, clearly.
But also, part of the problem is with modern girls, Lewis. You know this yourself. Otherwise,
Modernity.
I mean, you're 20 years old. Where's your girlfriend? I mean, come on, you're telling me.
Dog, you're like 27 years
You've
old.
You've yet to be fucking blackpilled, and you don't have a girlfriend, dude. Come on, get real. You're trying to tell me you haven't even gone through the process of dating and realizing
you sound like an autistic spurg. Actually, it's just like, yeah, I dated all the women at my work.
Oh, come off it! You barely even started at 20 years old, so you haven't gone through.
Man, you're just like
a bunch. Just like,
oh,
you haven't ran through a bunch of these women and realized what it's like, dude.
Oh, this one doesn't like spaceships, so I don't like this one. She doesn't like spaceships. I don't like. Yeah, that's.
Jord agrees with me. Jord absolutely knows what I'm talking about.
Jord is gonna die. I love Jord, but Jord's gonna wake up one morning when he's like 60 and be very unhappy with himself, Stephen.
No, he's not. Jord is gonna. I don't think Jord is going to be like forever bachelor. He's gonna settle down. He's already like 10 times as sensible as when he first appeared on the internet. He used to be doing like meth squad stuff and not that there's anything wrong with that, but like, on the internet, whoa, I'm the big fashy guy, hanging out with Gypsy Crusader and all this kind of stuff on the internet. Now he's much more sensible. He's already morphed into like the intelligent uncle role or something, and he's like, I've got like big brain takes to give you.
Look, I think I take credit for this. I think I broke George personally with bug posting. Like I take credit for that personally. I think I scared him off the internet personally. I take credit for this. Um, so, Stephen, about the women in your workplace. So you're just like what? Just like a revolving carnival of coin slots or something? That's what your problem is?
No, what it is if you date, you date somebody who you work with, and then you have to go back. Then it doesn't work out, obviously, because like these women are fickle and whatever, and so it doesn't work out, and then you're working on the same shifts with these people again, and it's like, it's just makes it awkward.
You are a Spurge.
No, this is just life, dude. This is just life, dude.
You're an autist.
So then what that does is then that puts it in your mind then, well, I don't want to ruin this relationship here, so the trouble is having to look for dates outside of work means going to places and doing things.
That sounds like hell, honestly. I think I'll just go
exactly.
Yeah, I think I'll just go scroll on social media for another 4 hours. Personally, I think that's what I'm gonna do, or maybe go read my obscure fascist manifestos.
Yes, and I think that it may even be worse for Americans, because Americans, like, everything is farther apart. Basically, you have to drive somewhere if you want to go somewhere.
Yes.
You live.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's harder for you than it even is for me, basically.
Yes.
So, yeah. Where are you going to find your girlfriend if it's not at work?
I suppose I'll kidnap some random woman at a bar one day.
Oh my God.
I see it.
Just make sure before you do that, you give me notice so I can delete my Twitter like Red Family and
you want to run a train,
cube.
Stephen,
especially this stream.
Yeah, if I ever do anything atrocious, I'll make sure to credit you as an inspiration.
Holy shit.
Man, that's so funny.
Yeah.
You're old.
All right. Yeah, Louis. It's coming to you. And if basically my advice to you, look, I'm the elder now. Okay, it's very rare that I get to do this.
People turn 25 and like break down. It's like, oh my God, I'm so
old. To your father, Louis. Right now, you're gonna get some fatherly advice from me on the way out. Right. Make it happen
listen to my
young.
gay lover, but okay.
Right, because if you get to 25 and you've had a bunch of girlfriends and none of them have worked out, then you're going to start becoming black-pilled on women, okay? And it gets worse and worse. And you're in your prime now at 20 years old. Fuck these people who tell you you're in your prime at 25. No, you're not. You're in your prime at like 21. So basically, your next year is your prime year, and for you, basically, you should be looking at it that when you're 22, it's over for you. Okay, it's all downhill from 22. Okay,
I'm getting. It's like the problem is TED talks about this. It's just like the continual. It's like people are talking about like Gen Z's quarter life crisis. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like when you turn 22, your life's over. It's like.
He doesn't understand, George.
Live life a little.
He doesn't have a fucking clue. He doesn't know. What you need to know, right, what somebody needs to do, and I'm here right now to do it, come to you, right? You sent me from the future, right, back to have this message, this chat with you right now, okay? The future, this is like the Terminator, okay? You programmed me and sent me back in time to have this conversation with you right now and tell you that at 20 years old, you need to act now and get your life together and start to make something that is working and at least halfway in progress by the time you're 25, whether that be, either or of what you want, a great career or a family. And so they need to be in progress by your mid-20s. Otherwise, you'll look back and feel like you've been spinning plates, spinning wheels, and the next 5 years is like fucking, a bit of a worry.
Look, Stephen,
All right.
I just wanted to like keep this offer on the table for you. Like, you're probably gonna, it's probably gonna be a very lonely rest of your life for you. Like, my door's, my door's always open. My bed's always warm. We can be lonely together, Stephen. We can. You can be the bottom. You're skinny. You're built enough like a woman. That it can work potentially.
What you should also do as a young man is look in the mirror and say to yourself, this advice goes out to all the incels out there, right?
No I'm not an incel, you fucking, oh my God.
No, this is why I'm addressing the crowd. This advice goes out to all the incels out there. You should go and stand in front of the mirror, and unless you're like exceedingly obese, then you need to look at yourself and say, I look the best right now that I'll ever look in my lifetime.
That's
retarded.
And
really understand that. No. Because unless you're like really obese, then you can do something to change yourself. Otherwise, all you've got to look forward to, like post 30 or whatever, is just starting to look rougher, older, more aged, and so you look your best right now. So take advantage of it while you still got it.
I'm gonna have so much muscle by the time I'm 35. I'm gonna look like the Hulk.
Well, that's too much muscle. Okay, that's too much.
Stephen, have you considered using any dating apps like Tinder or Grindr or something for your attempts?
Yeah, I've never used Tinder. Or Grindr, obviously.
Okay. I'm clipping that. Okay.
Yeah. Obviously.
That's crazy. Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah. But I've seen enough of these, whatever, wheat waffles. I've seen enough wheat waffles videos to realize to never ever want to try that fucking Tinder game.
I don't know. I know some people who have found love on there, as it were. If you wanted to go for it, well, how about you like there's like femcel dating apps. Maybe you should try one of those.
I don't know any of those. What is the SQ? I don't know what that is.
I don't know if this
social media question. No. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what this retard's talking about.
What are these femcel apps?
I forgot the names.
There's no such thing as femcel.
You can basically like find plenty of the women like the recent shooter on those apps. Like I feel like you would love those types of women personally. I think they would make very great mothers.
Yeah. There's no such thing as a femcel. A femcel doesn't exist. So literally, they are the most mentally ill. They're so mentally ill, they don't realize that a girl can get basically sex anytime she wants. All she has to do is just look at a guy.
That sounds like ideal wife material. I'm not gonna lie. That sounds like the ideal wife, honestly. Stephen?
Yeah, you're asking to get Justin moaned by your girlfriend. That's what's going to happen there.
Stephen, would you ever date Radfem Hitler?
Absolutely not. No way.
Why not?
Well, to be honest, I don't know much about her, but basically, I'm basically been advocating for. I mean, somebody said even if it's fake that she's named in this manifesto, she's been advocating for it all anyway.
Yeah.
She's basically responsible anyway.
Yeah, but Stephen, like at the same time, like beggars.
Yeah, these people are crazy, Louis.
Beggars can't be choosers, Stephen. Beggars can't be choosers.
Well, you do have me there. To be fair, you do have me there.
What's wrong with letting your girlfriend cut you a little bit every now and then? Like, genuine question.
Yeah, disavow that. Obviously, no self-harming on the stream,
Look,
so
Stephen,
we don't recommend that.
we have to find our own honorable death in the sandbox of Zog. And the only way to do that is to get a femcel girlfriend and then you kill each other.
Uh, Complete disavowal, obviously.
You need to do
Lewis,
that.
that was a joke from
Stephen, you're
Lewis,
running out of time.
obviously.
You're running out of time. Stephen, like, what's going to happen if you're like 60 and get killed by a prostitute? You need to get killed by a femcel right now.
Yeah. Well, it might
Don't
be
you
fun
want
at
your
least, I
body to?
suppose.
Don't you want your body to be beautiful in the open casket funeral?
When you're dead, and there's nothing after Lewis. Unless you reproduced, and then you live on via your children. That's kind of my belief. That's the only thing that anybody's convinced me of so far.
Oh, damn, bro believes in blood memories. Are you gonna like?
Yeah, that's literally the only way that your DNA is going to exist. Nobody's ever shown that there's anything other than life via DNA. So biologically, you can continue living through your children.
Have you considered
anything
like
else is cope?
Have you considered like training with George so that you can like psychically possess your child and live a better life next time?
George is actually very inspiring in a way. So I won't rule out talking to George more about these esoteric ideas. Go on.
Stephen, just read C.S. Lewis's books, man. Just go read that stuff. You retarded nihilist. You have lost soul. You poor. Honestly, you need to believe in something, dude. Like you're just all you believe in is rockets and AI, and you should probably be killed for that. But I'm trying to help you here, so.
Well, I'll read the book, but it can't be that good because you couldn't even give me a summary of it. So
look, it's good because I can't. It's good because I can't.
I hear this all the time. Fucking
look, it's good because look, C.S. Lewis's works. I have a very hard time of vocalizing why this makes such sense, like why it works so well. But yes, you just need to read some of his stuff, Stephen.
George says that C.S. Lewis is incredible, to be fair.
The best Christian writer of the past 100 years. No. Honestly, maybe the best Christian writer since Dostoevsky, honestly.
Right, well, I'll give it a read.
They only come
once 50 pages. 50 pages.
50 pages.
I can do 10 a day.
10 a day? Oh, my God. This ADHD mother... Oh, my God.
Yeah, no bully. That's what it's like.
I read that in like 2 hours or like 5 hours or whatever it was. Like, oh my God. Jordan, man, Jordan, I wish you the best, buddy. You need it. Stephen, what do you think of fascism? Are you opposed to fascism?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan at all.
Why not?
What are we talking here? Fascism, as in just like Italian fascism?
Just like the whole gambit, like Mussolini, Mosley, De Grelle, Antonio.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. I'm an Englishman. I believe in representative democracy. I think the Englishman's yearning is to be free, to be the king of his castle, but to be free and unoppressed by the government, to live with liberty, and that this also for hundreds of years produced the best societies, produced literally the West that was great and produced really all the inventions of the world.
It's really
up until it went crazy a couple of decades ago.
It's really funny that you say that because what you're criticizing Christianity for could be the same criticisms could be applied to what you're talking about right now.
What the Enlightenment thought?
Yes, the Enlightenment thought. What you're criticizing, like the same criticisms you have of Christianity, can be applied to that what equally to what you just said right here, where it's like, oh yeah, worked well for hundreds of years, and then it went crazy, and now we're full of brown people.
Well, I tend to see the Enlightenment as a reaction to like the ideas of religious dogma that you can't figure out the world through reason and science and understanding and logic and examination. That. So I don't get what you mean.
If the rule you followed led you here, what use was the rule?
But it was great for hundreds of years, and it allowed the environment within, for science and technology to flourish. That produced the modern world today.
And the modern world is gay and full of
Only in
arrows.
the last only in the last few decades, progressivism has hijacked what was a good ideology and allowed like race communism and woke ideology to come in its place. So we were doing great for hundreds of years without needing a daddy Hitler to come in and start, telling everybody's dumb fuck 25 points of natsock nonsense where we all have to jump through hoops and do all this bullshit. Nobody needs any of that. The English were doing fine for hundreds of years. And so were Americans to that effect. In fact, you Americans went and like took the best ideals of liberty and the rights the rights of representative government, not to be oppressed by a foreign king, over there, and created something great for a long time, and
For
then
a long
fucking it all
time.
up at the end.
But the problem is, the problem is as technology changes, ideals have to change. The Enlightenment very well might be dead. Personal liberty might be dead. Honestly,
It's
we'll
because
see.
we've lost touch with the true ideals, really. Like I say, this progressivism that's lately is a suffocating ideology. It is basically like the belief in imposing race communism, like this idea of all, like affirmative action and all this kind of nonsense. This is all very socialistic too. Like lift up the bottom rungs of society up above so that everybody's at the same level, and and then it leads to these ideologies where we say, well, we have to fucking break down all the barriers between people, socially too, to like, just be sure that everybody's at the same level and let all this craziness through into society to the point where we're like giving hormones to kids because they think,
There's something wrong with that. Do you not support trans children?
no, I don't.
I'm gonna call up
No,
Keir
I don't.
Starmer right now, and you're going to jail, buddy. You're going to jail right now.
Our government, actually, our Labour government, have just banned puberty blockers for kids. Do you believe it?
Oh my god, I can't believe fascism has made it to the UK. Oh my god, this is, oh my god. Literal,
Yeah, for real.
this Guten Tag, bro. Like it's 1940s Germany. All right then. Can't give my kid
Yeah,
puberty blockers.
crazy, huh?
All right then. But I mean, I suppose that you would acknowledge at the end of the day that what is it? Different races, as it were, have different guiding ideologies. Like the Germans have always been more authoritarian than, I don't know, let's say the Anglos.
Mm,
They've always had a more socialized system, like going back to their very foundings as nations. I, I, I I think that it works just fine for them. And in general, fascism tends to adopt the characteristic of whatever country it latches onto. So I'm not a fascist personally, but I'm not super opposed to it. Also, Hitler wasn't a fascist either. So
Hitler wasn't a fascist.
no,
No, he wasn't. He was a fucking socialist.
he was a national socialist.
Yes, socialist. This is what people forget. Basically, he just didn't want Bolshevism in his country, allegedly, even though,
I mean, you're
He
a socialist too.
No, I'm not.
I mean, you just said that you are a big fan of your medical system in the UK, and you think that America would be
No, I
much better.
didn't. No, I
Yes, you
didn't.
did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I'm not a big fan of it.
You literally said that America would be better off with a health system similar to the
Well, I'm just like
UK's.
pulling. I was just like pulling for. I was just like pulling threads that were coming about available just to push
So, do
back
you want
on
to pay
anything
for
that you're
your
saying.
ADHD meds?
No, I don't actually.
So you are a socialist.
The difference is, um, well, basically, Americans are getting screwed in the insurance prices. There's different systems in Europe. Some countries in Europe have like a private-public partnership where costs are low, but there's some pay at the point of service. Versus in America, you have to pay hiked up insurance costs. That like you can't afford it. What is it, like $500 a month for basic
Yes.
healthcare?
Yes. Basically.
Exactly, $500 a month for basic healthcare. And what is the average wage for like
Ah.
an for a 20-year-old in America?
Oh, I don't know what the average is. I'd have to look at. I'd guess probably
Like
something like
$20,000 or
20,
something.
yeah, 20K, something like that. 20, 25 would be what I guess the average is. Um, yeah, no. I don't know. You sound very socialistic, Stephen. Like, what, you don't want to
No,
pay
I'm
for
not.
your medication?
No, just because you think that the government should have a monopoly on on a few basic things doesn't mean socialism.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You're sounding like a fascist right now. You sound like Mussolini right now.
Someone said to me the other day that technically even the USSR wasn't ever full communist. They were just socialists, and so
Well, communism can never really
question.
be. Okay, so the USSR would have been communist like during the revolution, but afterwards, once Stalin took over, the end goal of communism is a stateless, classless society. So like that's impossible. So like you're always just gonna reach someone like Mao or Stalin and just stop there with your revolution, basically. Like that's as far as it goes.
Yeah, Inquisitor Magnus says National Socialism is just Bolshevism with slightly different propaganda. Exactly. Exactly. Horseshoe theory proven correct once again. Sargon's horseshoe theory is vindicated every single day, basically.
Here's an interesting other example of the horseshoe theory. It was like in the 1970s when they voted to end the draft in France. Only two parties voted against it: the Communist Party and the Fascist Party of France. They both believed in having a fit youth.
Yeah, my position is I'm not a fan. I think that people who were, the right wing was basically infected by memes in 2015, 2016 by 4chan. This has done a number on right wingers. It's convinced everybody that they need basically the Third Reich to come back. This is what they all want. And I mean, really, here's the thing. I said it in the last stream that when COVID-19 hit, all the people who like were spurging out like crazy against like mild authoritarianism from the government, in the potential threat of like a deadly disease, were all the people who've been telling me that what we need is Adolf Hitler to swoop in. So
Well,
none of
it's
these people are actually true authoritarians at heart. They all shat the bed the moment that the government tried to do anything authoritarian, just in the belief that it might save their life.
well, it's one of those things where it's like just because you oppose one type of authoritarianism doesn't mean you oppose all types of it. I mean, it's true that quote unquote National Socialism shouldn't be brought back, but at the same time, if you just adopt like the sort of like racial and political opinions of the average American in the 1900s, 1940s, or whatever, you basically, by today's standards, have a fascist. Like you have people like I don't know what the UK is, but I'd imagine it's the same. Where it's like if you adopted the average opinion of the people in your country before it started going to shit, you basically have a fascist by today's standards.
Well, I don't know about that. I mean, obviously people were a lot more racist back then, more nationalistic. If we're equating fascism with nationalism, then maybe.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. I get you, but we live in the modern age. The toothpaste can't be put back into the tube. Liberalism is what people crave for. You can make a new tube. I've never heard that before. I like that. Scoop it all up and put it in a new tube.
That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. You got to put it in the new tube.
Yeah. Lewis, before you go, why was your sister screaming?
What's it called? I didn't feed the dog. I didn't feed her dog.
Her dog. You see, the women rule the men. We live in a gynocracy.
We've been longhouse, yes. Longhouse.
Yeah. Right, Lewis. Do you want to sing a Christmas song before you go?
Yes, I do actually. Hang on. Let me pull up the lyrics to a song. Hang on.
Let's fucking go.
Let me pull up the lyrics.
Alphabet Cat asks if you're sharing a bath with your sister.
I don't think so, no.
Okay, it's not that type of South.
Let's see here. Hang on, give me a second. Let me try and pull up.
Is it Last Christmas by Wham?
No, it's not. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. On the first day of Christmas, Kaisenat gave to me an Ohio in a lean tree. On the second day of Christmas, Kaisenat gave to me 2 large gats in an Ohio in a lean tree. On the third day of Christmas, Kaisenat gave to me 3 Aki meals, 2 large gats in an Ohio in a lean tree. On the fourth day of Christmas, Kaisenat gave to me 4 skibadis, 3 Aki meals, 2 large gats, and an Ohio in a lean tree. On the fifth day of Christmas, Kaisenat gave to me 5 grimace shakes, 4 skibadis, 3 Aki meals, 2 large gats, and an Ohio in a lean tree. On the sixth day of Christmas, Kaisenat gave to me 6 Grubhub perk deals, 5 grimace shakes, 4 skibadis, 3 Aki meals, 2 large gats, and an Ohio in a lean tree. On the seventh day of Christmas, Kaisenat gave to me 7 Ligma symptoms, 6 Grubhub perk deals, 5 grimace shakes, 4 skibadis, 3 Aki meals, 2 large gats, and an Ohio in a lean tree. On the 8th day of Christmas, Kaisenat gave to me 8 John Pork's Calling, 7 Ligma symptoms, 6 Grubhub perk deals, 5 grimace shakes, 4 skibadis, 3 Aki meals, 2 large gats, and an Ohio in a lean tree. On the 9th day of Christmas, Kaisenat gave to me 9 Sigmas grinding, 8 John Pork's Calling, 7 Ligma symptoms, 6 Grubhub perk deals, 5 grimace shakes, and 4 skibadis, 3 Aki meals, 2 large gats, and an Ohio on a lean tree. On the 10th day of Christmas, Kaisenat gave to me 10 Phantoms taxing, 9 Sigmas grinding, 8 John Pork's Calling, 7 Ligma symptoms, 6 Grubhub perk deals, 5 grimace shakes, 4 skibadis, 3 Aki meals, 2 large gats, and an Ohio in a lean tree. On the 11th day of Christmas, Kaisenat gave to me 11 looks a maxing, 10 Phantoms taxing, 9 Sigmas grinding, 8 John Pork's Calling, 7 Ligma symptoms, 6 Grubhub perk deals, 5 grimace shakes, 4 skibadis, 3 Aki meals, 2 large gats, and an Ohio in a lean tree. On the 12th day of Christmas, Kaisenat gave to me 12 pizza towers, 11 looks maxings, 10 phantoms taxing, 9 sigmas grinding, 8 John Pork calling, 7 ligma symptoms, 6 Grubhub perk deals, 5 grimace shakes, 4 skibadis, 3 Yaki meals, 2 large gats, and an Ohio in a lean tree.
Well, I think everybody's agreed. That was beautiful, Louis. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was epic. And
everyone go subscribe to the Cube channel. I'll comment on this video with that account.
Yeah, the link is in the description, as is Lewis's Twitter. Believe it or not, the Cube puts out some fun content. Even I have been featured on there, even if I disagree with the nature of my appearance on there. I'm still willing to say
oh yeah, you got exposed for your subscribing.
You've lost a sub since we started streaming. You were at 290 when we started.
It's just Ted. Ted like unsubscribes.
Oh, 290 now. 290. It's going up. Come on. Yeah. Prove that I have some clout left. And,
If I get it to 300, I'll have like Jack Star twerk on a live stream or something.
Yeah. Basically, 200 of these subs are already my viewers, basically, anyway. So
I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Louis. Thank you for coming on SJJMAS. The first ever. Now you'll be able to tell your grandchildren in 10 years' time that you were here on the first one when it mattered.
Don't you mean our grandchildren in 10 years' time? And they figure out how to genetically splice our DNA together.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wish you a very Merry Christmas. Good night.